Hey everybody, welcome back to Northern Lion Play some chess. Not super pleased with our last episode, but you know what? That's okay. We went 1-1, but we should have gone 2-0. I know that sounds like, look at this. How am I supposed to beat this guy? He's staring into my freaking soul. His mind incepted me to blunder. Here, you can't get a better match than this. 1537 versus 1536. Like, we're in... It's of staggering import. I think we win a little on this move. We get tempo. Unless, what if he does this? No, then we do this. And he still has to move. Yeah. So, I mean, you know what the obvious move here is. That. The real question is whether or not that move is actually any good at all. And I'm kind of hesitant to say that the answer is yes. What I will say is I kind of like, this is a long setup, but like imagine this and the rook to here. And then he doesn't castle. Okay, that's not going to happen. I don't know. I think that his rook is, or his bishop's in a horrible position there. It's blocking the d-pawn, which makes it very difficult for that to develop. So I'm not going to force him out, actually. I'm very happy, I think, with where he stands. Instead, I'm going to do that. I'm going to let him deal with this. I'm not going to push to c5 just to make him move back again, which is probably where he should have put it in the first place. This is a worse position than this because now this pawn can't develop. So I want to go here, but now I'm recognizing he's probably going to put me in check. But I think that's fine. We could always do that, maybe. Or we could do that. I mean, either way is okay. So, like, I don't think this is a good move. Like, if he wants it, you can get it. Don't get me wrong. But, like, do you really want it? All right. So now it's like that, probably. All right. So, I mean, he gets something out of it. Don't get me wrong. Actually, he gets quite... no, he gets nothing out of it. Check. That's why I don't like that. That's one of the reasons I don't think that's particularly strong, in my opinion. I suppose. So we're up by a lot, obviously. I think that next we threaten this. He's going to threaten my queen, presumably. But we can take some time for that. Like, yeah, I was going to say, I think he's going to do that. And just keep in mind, he's probably going to start playing fast. Which means we should sort of chill out. You know, we can play the game at our pace. We're literally up a queen. Like, it's... I think we're down... He has 6 pawns, I have 5. We're down a pawn, we're up a queen. Definitely a trade you would take. All we want to do is not outrageously blunder. So, like, this play, I've seen that done before. I think the analysis is absolutely going to hate it, for the record. Definitely think you still just take this. I definitely think you then take this. But it is, like, in the end, you're trading a piece for a pawn, but it is the H-pawn, so it leaves your king a little bit more susceptible. Sorry, Tomo wants in. I'm not going to say I've never done it. I'm not going to say as a chess player in my youth, especially in some speed-based games, I'm not going to say I've never done it. But I would say I don't consider it very strong. So how does this develop from here? Well, partly that's up to the opponent. We're now up by more. But really, like, this knight has a good position here or here. We just want to make sure that our queen doesn't get destroyed. And we want to develop our bishop, because when we develop our bishop, it's going to allow us to... like, possibly get a... our rooks will be connected. Sorry, I was just walking that move through. It's just a strange one to me. Not surprising anybody, I suppose. But like, we get a great threat just by doing this, unless I'm mistaken. I mean, we put a threat on this piece, but then we can do a fork, and we don't mind the trade at this point for sure. So he basically, I mean, I liked the knight there, honestly. I didn't feel like he had to move it. Now that he's moved it, our knight can easily go here. Yeah, see, like, I mean, like, I feel bad, but I'm still going to put you in check, and then you can take, and then I'll take, and then you get a turn, but I go here. You're probably not going to take, but let's say you did. Then I take. Then you probably take. Then I take. Then you take. You would have a rook. I would have a queen and a rook. I probably lose a pawn as a result of the exchange. What if instead I do this, and let's say like you do that? Then we probably go here and we feel okay. So I like this move. Because it connects our bishops. So yeah, we knew something like this was likely to happen. Sorry, not connects our bishops. It connects our rooks. And now we can, because the rooks reinforce one another, now we can start the way that we don't need to go through too much analysis of the idea of how this game's going to develop. We are up by a queen. Typically, it's over. But like, we want to start trading pieces. This is like bad, not to be rude, but like he had to do something to get me out. But now he has to make a move to defend this piece. Okay, he does that. We do this. What does he do with this thing? Nobody knows. So, okay. Or he could just ignore it, is the other way, for sure. Let me think about this for a second. What if I did this? It's not good. He just moves it. He gains some tempo. So I think the easy play here is, like, why give up something? And then I think, like, it's great that he does not have a dark squared bishop. Because, like, we got this great open diagonal. If he wants to trade, I would be overjoyed to trade. If he doesn't want to trade, I would be overjoyed to trade. See, he clearly does not want to trade. But that's okay, because I do. I wouldn't, personally. And it's just, I've been there. It's tilt. Yeah, all right. So that was a good game for us. 15 move, resignation. Let's take a look at the analysis. I wouldn't say I'm proud of that one. Like, I don't think we necessarily played the greatest game. I think our opponent made some mistakes that let us get in there. But let's figure out where this went wrong for them, in case it's not abundantly clear. Oh, well, we were up by like a little, and then we were up by a lot, and then it was over. All right, 95% accuracy. That's pretty good. Still no brilliance. Take a look at the analysis. C4. So I'm really learning like the E3 move is what we want to do. Why? Because we want to push D4. We need some support. This is honestly where I kind of felt like it went wrong for them. Like, not this move. Not this move. But this move. They like it. I agree. Like, it's less that it's... Like, look at it, how much it gives us. We're up by like a pawn in the analysis. It's more that like... No move, as long as you move the bishop, is horrible, except maybe like that or, any place where it could be taken. But like of the 3 spots where you could put it, this has got to be the worst. Here, is not amazing. It doesn't project any power, but it's reinforced at least, and it's not blocking your d-pawn. Here, it's pinning the knight, which is not a major concern, but, we're threatening the take, which destroys our pawn structure, which means we'd probably have to respond with something like that. Obviously here is just like, it just reverses. So I think that move is where it started to fall apart. That's the best move, which is a little surprising to me, but I thought to myself we should develop the bishop. Why here instead of here? I don't know. I guess because like we're competing for the open file, so we don't want to put anything over top of it. Okay, best move, good move. What do they prefer queen to here. I can't imagine why, but that's okay. Now, again, this was one where I was like, really? And you might, by the way, so my response was the castle, which was considered best. You might be wondering, like, oh, but he could take that pawn. If you castle, why not just push it? I really, like, I want him to take the pawn, quite frankly. Like, I want him to do that exchange because it leaves us up on material. Now, the flip side is that I'm sure, you know, like, you probably don't need me to tell you the way that this worked out. So, like, we're up by a ton. However... Oh, you know what? That's interesting. So here, instead of what we did, they like that. Because we're threatening mate. So they have to do something to respond to the mate. And what they would likely do is just that. Or, okay, actually they prefer this. But you get the idea. Something along these lines. And then we probably take, but I also wonder if, like, that's not an interesting option. Is considered good, at least. But why is this better? Well, you know, we've forced their kingside open a little bit. Oh, now they like this. Okay, because we still keep the mate threatened, so they can't move them. Anyway, you get the idea. Just, you're ramping up the attack. But anyway, the principle for black here, this is wrong, but that doesn't mean it can't work in some situations. Now you have the ability to do, like, an attack on the king's side. I really was surprised they didn't follow it up with this. Like, I thought that would have been the best move. Oh, they did follow it up with that. Okay. And then we did the only move we can do, I think. And then, so I honestly thought that was book. They don't feel that way. Oh, we obviously did not think it was book because we found the gambit to destroy them. Okay, and then from that point onwards, it was over. There's not really much need to get too into the game from that point onwards, I think. But I like that I didn't see the thing that I did in the analysis. Like, live me beat out analysis me. All right, Matt from Argentina. Feeling a little bit more comfortable, for sure, with our with the way that we're playing this game. You know, I think we're better at the English opening now, for sure. I kind of want to play as the black pieces because I want to do the Dutch defense. Now, I think this is a horrible move for black here, but I might be mistaken. So what's my thinking? His bishop is now locked in. Let's lock in his other bishop as well and just completely close it. Our bishops are kind of locked in, but we have much more, like, power projection over the center. I like e4. It's a lot of moves that have not developed pieces yet, but I really like our control over the center. So I imagine he's probably going to do this and go for a queenside castle. We, on the other hand, will almost certainly castle kingside. You know, in my heart of hearts, I thought about that. So I gotta walk this through just for a second. Imagine I did this, okay? He only has two moves. Well, I mean, he has many moves. He could do that, I suppose. Then we would probably do that, and then he would go back here. It would be hard to get him out there. Or would it? Because couldn't we just go like this? Anyway, let's say we did this. He did this. No, it's horrible. What if we just didn't push him after that? What if we just did this and let it go? No, he's going to take my bishop. We like it. Go ahead, take my bishop. It's a closed game. This bishop is not good. That's a good push. But if he does this, for example, obviously we want to protect this pawn. But we also could just do that. I think. I don't know. I mean, if he wants to do that, I'm kind of like let's let him do that. It's a thinking man's game right now. You know what I'm thinking? What if we did that? Screw it, dude. Why? I don't know. It just, like, it feels right. I want to prevent him getting in on the queen side. I want to lock this game down further. As busted as this looks, I want to lock this down further. All right. So I mean, it's a tough move to defend. is basically what it comes down to. We have to do something like this. We actually, you know what we should do next is threaten this. And then, like, if he wants to castle queenside, I don't want to say it's bad for him, but it's kind of spicy because we have such a good pawn push on that side already. And, like, what does he do? Okay, sure. I mean, I would castle kingside, I think, if I were black right now. But what does he do, you know? Like, his pieces don't go anywhere. Like, that's, I think, by far the best move, quite honestly. But, like, his pieces don't go anywhere. Like, what if I did this? I know we've moved so many pawns, and is a bad rule of thumb. But on the other hand, like, he hasn't done anything. Like, I think we threaten the pawn. I really doubt. Did I move? I did not move. Okay. I really doubt that he's going to just castle and give me the pawn, but it's possible. Like, maybe it would give him the chance to get, like, a access to this file in the future. Okay, so he moves back to prevent it, which is very understandable. He will castle next turn. But, like, here's the problem. If he castles... Okay, let's just walk this through. What if I do this? Okay? He can't go here. He'll be taken. He can go here. Yeah, he can go there. Maybe we'd rather fall back first. Let's walk it through, okay? No. Hold on. I go here. He can only go here. I go here, which threatens this. What does he do then? I don't know. Is that right? I go here. He can't go here. He can't go here. Can't go here. He can only go here. I don't know, man. Let's get wild. Let's get freaking nuts, dude. You want to play these, like, tactical games, Matthias? Okay, so I must acknowledge that I did not acknowledge that he could take that. We don't like the check anymore, let's be clear. Unfortunately, now we have to do something with our knight. This is the best move. It's not good. We lost a pawn in the process. On the other hand, well, there's really no positives. But it's fun, and that's worth something. Were I him, I like this, and then, like, I don't know, do we ever castle? Maybe not. He also, like, his knight being back here is a huge advantage for him. We would like to remove it from the premises post-haste. I hate my position right now. This is a good lesson, you know? Every time I say, let's get nuts, I think that instead of getting nuts, I should probably just relax a little. Probably just go, you know what? It's okay. We don't need to get nuts right now. Let's just yeah, okay. Let's just play a more traditional game. Imagine that's coming. I know you're like, this madman's not going to castle. I think you're right. I think I'm not going to castle. The irony being that if we were going to castle, at this point we would probably castle queenside. So he's got too much pressure on this. It is bad for us. I see what he's going for here. I'm like, maybe we should castle. I think what we want to do is threaten this pawn. We want to avoid what's about to happen here, which is the bishop having a wide open diagonal, for example. I think he still takes. I definitely hate my position, But on the flip side, it is a meme. And memes are valuable, you know? So I think we have to take. So hear me out. Like, I think that's good. And after this, I have a move. I don't know if the move is good, but I have a move. Maybe he wants to go in to the inside instead. Go ahead. Take here. Doesn't matter yet. My move is this. By the way, if you gave me the choice, would I swap positions? Yes. In a heartbeat. But by doing this, what happens? He has to give up the pawn, I think. I didn't really puzzle it through for more than 2 seconds, but he can't move it up. I mean, he can, but he gives up some advantage. And the other thing is, you might think like, oh, you could take with the rook and put him in check. That's the coward strat. What you do instead is you take with the bishop, and then at any point in the future, you have a discovered attack on the king, so maybe you get an extra pawn out of it. This is a fun game. Okay, so he decided, you know what? It's worth it. That's fair. I can't stop you. I don't like this knight. This knight, we say no. I don't like it. So instead, let's force you to choose something. I would go here, but I imagine you're like, oh, what if I just went here instead? That's actually a pretty good move because you got some attack on that. You know what? He might have been about to do that regardless. But we can start. It's going to be fun because if he goes here, we can start to put an attack on these pawns, which will also put an attack on his bishop. Maybe he doesn't care. But then by moving here, he also has an attack on this pawn. So like this game is wild. We're up by 1 point, but that will potentially change pretty quickly. Like in both ways. Like we should have an advantage. We have rooks and we're getting close to the endgame. The less pawns he has, the better off this is. So I think we just do this. And if he wants to trade, I would love to trade rooks. I would love to trade rooks. If he puts his knight here, it's very scary because he cannot move his knight. Well, I guess his rook's not really pinned, or his knight's not pinned to his rook, I should say. Our next phase, for sure, we have to get our rook involved in the game. One of the ways we could do so is via something like that. Like here is not good. Actually, you know, I think that's just a bad move to begin with because that counters it pretty hard. We now also have a time advantage, which is kind of surprising to me. Usually that starts to dip as the game goes on. He's going to get some pawns out of this one way or the other. Like, I think it's going to be, if he does this, and I take, and he takes, and I take, then he takes, and the game is materially pretty similar. He wanted to speed it up, which is interesting. So I think to myself, like, you know, what if I just took? Then he probably does something like that. And then the trick is just not getting caught. Like we trade pawn for pawn. I like it. I think I like it. I imagine that's the move. No, because then we fork him. That's terrible. So I don't know what he'll do. Someone's at the door. 1 second. Yo, Poggy, it's diapers. Okay. Now, if I go here, where's the fork? Now, you might say, like, what about this? I don't think I like it. I actually love the idea instead of like, what if we did this? And he can do that. But then his bishop has like much less ability to attack. You know what I mean? I feel like we can start to get into a position where we can defend against. I think that move's coming though. Then I would think, okay, so if he does this, where do I follow? We probably go here to fork 2 pieces. No, because then he could swap. But then we get the piece. I don't think we care. Let's fork him. It's not a fork with a check, but it is a fork on these 2 pieces. If he wants to swap, I mean, our pawn is so close to the end. Now his knight can protect it, but that takes exposure away from somewhere else. Curious game. What if he does this? We take. And then we have a threat on this that allows us to maybe trade favorably. And as the time ticks, I become confident, but I don't know. I'd give myself like 51% versus 49%. Now he has a real problem because, no, if I take that, he just moves. Never mind. But this is his problem. His easiest way... Oh, actually, it's not really much of a problem right now. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. That's a good move. So we're going to try to put some pressure on this. We don't really want to do this trade. That's still bad. But we want to put pressure on this. And we also, if possible, we want to keep ourselves out of like a bad check. Like, the check is here right now. He's going to have to do this. The biggest question of all is, I guess, like whether or not we mind. Okay, hold on. This pawn's in danger now. I'm trying to think of how we don't lose it. We kind of want to get our knight to here, which we can do via like that. Like 1, 2, 3. And normally you don't want to move the same piece 75 times in a row. But sometimes it can be the right idea in an endgame situation for sure. We have to avoid this check if we have a fork set up, but that's more dangerous, I suppose. Anyway. Time looks good for us right now, and we have the material to force a mate. I believe we will lose this. Like, I don't know how we respond to... I guess we respond with check. No, but then he moves closer. What do I do? I suppose in theory you could do that. What is a gain, though? Very little. Yeah, we don't love the check, is the thing. I think we prefer... this. Or do we prefer this? Okay, hold on. What about this? You gonna give up these? You might. You might. Now we got a much easier path to get here. Which puts protection on this piece. It's not about the bishop, it's about the pawn right now, because that's not a pawn, it's a queen. Kind of. So I imagine we're looking for that. At which point, what do we respond with? Probably like this. Otherwise, he's just going to let the... Oh, I didn't even think about, like, that right there. So what's the point of this? I want to put pressure on this pawn. Every pawn is a precious gift for us right now. He does only have 12 seconds left. It's not a great situation for him. Why here? Good question. We're going to win. Okay, we won on time. I don't know if we outplayed them that game, like from a chess standpoint. Let's look at the report. This is one that's going to be very interesting for me because I actually don't know. I just genuinely don't know who played better, who played worse. A wild game. We did have better accuracy. Sorry, my phone fell out of my pocket. We were down by as much as 5 points. But we came back. I mean, it says that at the end game, it says we were really close. So we must have made a blunder at the end. But let's look at the analysis, as you would expect. Book. We're playing book games, more or less, closing it up. How do they like us up by about a pawn right now? Pretty standard. They did like that, but not as much as almost any other move in the book. Fair enough. So this was where we basically said, hey, let's play a meme, and that's okay. They prefer this instead. The idea being, I guess you could threaten like a check over here. So what do they do to respond to that? I feel like they would just do like this. They would let us play it. Yeah, okay, so that's considered best. That's also boring. That's what we call boring. Okay, so we do this. He takes, we take. They still like us by half a pawn. I don't really like that move, and the engine mostly agrees compared to the best move. Wow, they love that move. No, they don't. They hate that move. They say excellent, but GE2 is much better. So they like that. They love that. No, they don't. They like knight to f3. Hold on. So what do we did knight to f3? They just take, right? Then we do this. Okay. So I can start to see maybe why they wouldn't be like huge fans of this. G5 is a mega blunder. Yeah, that's a bad one. Good point. Maybe they like that instead. No, they like capturing the pawn. Right, because I mean it exposes the queen, and if you take me, I got the pawn for free. But I get a pawn for free, so what? Anyway, that's not what happened. But what if it did? They like h3. That's actually pretty close to best. That's fine. This is an inaccuracy that gives black an advantage. They like that decently. Black still has an advantage. It's an inaccuracy. Oh, it's a mistake. It's just a mistake. Oh, because this is wide open, which we should have noticed earlier. Yeah, we needed to reinforce that piece. Whoops, cancel. I don't want to leave. I'm not freaking leaving. Like, this is like, what are you doing? Then they respond, okay, and this is where I was like, I'm bad. But C6 is horrible. But this is not good either. And that's like, what? It gave up 4 pieces. We took, and then we forced, but then this was the move of the century. Although they prefer this now. Like, what are you doing? Take. We're at an advantage now. They like it now. And then we've given up our advantage immediately. Why is this a blunder? What do they expect to be the response here? Yes, okay. But that still leaves us at an advantage. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, this is where it all got... it all went backwards, right? We got some best moves. We loved the trade. They wanted us to push instead so the knight couldn't get there. Anyway, dude, it was not a well-played game by either party, but hey, we came out on top. That was a 2-0 game, or a 2-0 video. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!